Welcome back. In the quiet town of Union, Missouri, there's a house that looks like any other. Faded exterior, an old porch, a front door that creaks in the wind. But behind its walls, the air has a weight to it, a presence. They call it the Screaming House. In 2001, Stephen LaChance moved in with his 3 children. It was supposed to be a new beginning, affordable rent, a quiet street, a house with charm. But charm turned to dread almost immediately. Doors slammed shut without warning. Bright lights flared in empty rooms. Heavy footsteps echoed in the night. Even when the family stood still, paralyzed in fear. But it was the screaming that truly broke them. One night, Stephen's daughter found herself trapped in her bedroom. Door sealed shut, though no one was outside, and then it came. A sound so loud, so inhuman, it shook the walls. A scream, raw, piercing, angry, ripping through the house from nowhere and everywhere. They fled after 13 days, left their belongings behind, abandoning their hopes of a new life. And they weren't the first. The land had a history. Once home to slave quarters, stains of violence, rumors of an axe murder nearby and a suicide just across the road. Tragedy soaked into the roots. Even the church got involved. A priest conducted an investigation and returned with a chilling report. 156 pages long. Demonic infestation, it claimed. Oppression, obsession, and worse. Stephen later wrote a book called The Uninvited, sharing everything. But the house wasn't finished. Others came after. One of them was a woman named Linda, who moved into the house with her own family, unaware of the terror that had already driven others out. At first, the house was quiet, just old, just creaky. But it didn't take long for the haunting madness to return. Lights began to flicker without cause, as if the house itself had started to breathe. Each night, the sound of footsteps wandered room to room, yet no one was there. The voices came next. Low murmurs that rose into angry, disembodied hisses. She described waking in the night to the sound of breathing. Just behind her ear, the breathing was close and persistent, too real to dismiss. Yet when she looked, there was nothing. Her health declined quickly. The fear wore her down, grinding her into silence. Eventually, she suffered a full nervous breakdown and was forced to leave. Like Stephen and his children before her, she left the house behind. Not just out of fear, but out of self-preservation. But curiosity did not end with Linda's escape. As word of the haunting spread, the house drew the attention of paranormal investigators from across the region. Research teams arrived armed with equipment, EVP recorders, infrared cameras, thermal readers, only to find that no gear could prepare them for what waited inside. They captured chilling results. Disembodied voices drifted through empty rooms, some whispering in pain. Others screaming in rage, and shadowy figures appeared in photographs. Doors slammed shut on their own. Lights flickered violently. Just before the temperature in one room dropped 30 degrees in seconds. But it didn't stop at sound or shadow, nor freezing temperature. Investigators were pushed, scratched. Some claimed to be bitten. Jaw-shaped bruises forming on arms and shoulders, left by something invisible. One researcher collapsed in the hallway, after claiming she felt something crawl across her spine. Another was overcome with nausea the moment he crossed the threshold, only to recover completely once he stepped back outside. More than one team refused to ever return. Mediums who entered the house reported a multitude of spirits, some human, others far darker. A man in a long coat who stood by the stairwell, a little girl who wept in the kitchen doorway, and something else. Something they refused to name. One psychic called it an ancient rage wearing the house like skin. They weren't the first to call it demonic, and they wouldn't be the last. And yet the house still stands, quiet now, changed perhaps, but never cleansed. Some say it sleeps, others believe it waits. But if you listen closely, late at night when the wind dies and the world forgets to breathe, a long, marrow-deep scream piercing the darkness. Not a warning, but a remembrance. Because once a house learns how to scream, it never forgets. Thanks for watching Storytime with Paranormal Tendency, copyright 2025, Haunted Soul Productions.